chapter
This
to talk
conference
about.
will now be recorded.
So today we are going to talk about the search and duplicate check. So in this search and duplicate check chapter, there are four different topics which we are going to discuss today. First is basic understanding about different type of search activities, or rather different type of search, and develop categorically the database search, enterprise search, and HANA based search. And we will see that with the proper configuration steps in the system. And then we will talk about the duplicate check in the uh, MDG data models, and then understand about the S4 HANA integration with MDG. So this is the four different topics which we are going to discuss in this chapter. Okay, so let's start with the search, the basic details about the search. Okay, first of all, why search is important, or uh, why the search is necessary for MDG. So before I start anything, wait a minute. Let me show you one quick demonstration about the search. I just unshare my screen. Let me open one demonstration. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, so this is a small demonstration video which will give a clear understanding that how search activity is happening in MDG. So here we have. So this is the material master search scenario. So in the material master, we have the search material. Similarly, for supplier master, for customer master, for finance master, we have search customer or search supplier or search finance data, etc. So this is the search scenario. So when we click on the search activity on any master data, it will navigate you in the search activities of that respective master data. So here you can see this is for the search material. Now, in this search criteria, we have basically, there are two things. One is you can see this is the line which is having name as a search term, and you can see we can type any specific uh, subject line or a specific description of the master data. So this is nothing but a free text search. So whenever I search with search term, this is nothing but the free text search. So here I can see that the description which has been given here, that is bearing. And respect to this description, there are about 10 materials which has been identified. Okay. And then add up some more description. You can see the more detailing we are giving, we will get the more specific materials. Okay. And then you can see with this particular detail, we have only one material. Okay, let's continue. Then we again enter some more description, and we can see the respective material. So that is one thing. Through the search term, we can provide the free text description or free text information. Now followed by this is nothing but the complex search where we have certain combination. So you can see there are certain combinations like base unit of measure, manufacture part number, material type. These are all different combinations. And we are giving some combinations. And based on that, when we search, we can see the list of materials. And remember, when the search is happening across active and inactive records. That means the record which is in the active area and the record which is in the staging area, all are actually getting searched, and you can see the respective details in the search result list. This is search result list. And you can see those items having this clock icon. This is nothing but the inactive data, and those does not have any clock icon. They are basically the active data. Okay. So having said that, when we continue, we can also see that we can save this combination. So what happened that your customer will search basically with this complex complex search scenario where they have the multiple fields in a certain combinations, and with this kind of combinations they will try to identify the respective materials or respective suppliers or respective customers. So when they know that I have this combinations, and this combination always I need to search a certain type of master data, then they can save these combinations as a search variant. So this is called a search variant. So what you see in the save search as, this is a description which we are giving as a search variant. Okay. So what is going to happen that if you save this combination and you know that again and again I need to use this combination, so next time when you call that variant, automatically that combination will appear. So you need not to select again and again with this combination. So you can see that. So once this variant has been saved, and we can see the save search, and this is the combination. See, the moment you select that variant from the drop down, the same combination appeared. Okay. So this is how we can perform the search. Again, we have the fuzzy search. Fuzzy search means the fuzzylogy methodology. Like whatever the free text you provide, based on that, it will search the list of master data, which is having at least some similarity of the description which you enter. Also, along with the basic details, you also can include the classification and characteristics. So here also you can see the list of classification. You can add similarly the list of characteristics you can add. Okay. So you can add some characteristics like inside diameter, outside diameter, width, etc. So this is the class and this is the characteristics. So you can see with this characteristics inside diameter with 10 mm, this is the number of materials which appeared. Then again one more characteristics which is outside diameter, which is 200 mm, and with that we have total 3 materials which is identified. And then with the width we can see, so this is 14 mm width, and this is the material which has been identified. So that means the more details we enter, we will go for a more specific item. So this is the whole purpose of the search. That means by using the search, we can not only identify the material number or customer number or supplier number, also we can identify with some combinations, with some free text description. And not only that, we can also, for if I talk about material, beside the basic data, also we can look for classification and characteristics. So this is the whole purpose of search. Now I will back to the different type of search what we have. So basically in the search, so as I was talking about that search is happening staging and active both. So both of the places, that means with the active data and the inactive data, the search is happening. And another point is search is also having the fuzzy logic methodology. So what is fuzzy logic? Fuzzy logic means it will try to read the possible words or the possible characters which you entered in the search term. So that is nothing but the fuzzy logic, like the way Google work. We enter India, and with that character or with that word, Google is trying to search the all possible details, right? So that is something fuzzy logic. Now we have four different type of search: database search, key search, enterprise search, and HANA based search. Now, if I talk about what is database search, what is that? So database search is this search finds the data in database on your on user specific search criteria. So basically what is happening, user enter, let's say uh, some description in the search term, hit the search details, and then directly that details will hit to the database and get some details to the user. That is the database search. So it can also it can also be used in applications such as duplicate check. So duplicate check also used not only here, duplicate check also used for key search, enterprise search, and HANA based search as well. So that's not a problem. So basically, I can say database search is a very straightforward thing. You enter something and that data you hit, and it will go and search that information in the database layer. In the database layer, if that information is present, it will bring for you in the search result. And which of those data model can be part of it? So basically for BP, for finance, for custom data model, this type of database search we use. Okay. Now coming to the key search. Key search is nothing but also called as a remote key search. So what is this remote key search? Remote key search is, let's say you have a MDG system and you have another ECC system. Now they are interconnected, those two systems, and you enter something in MDG system as a part of search criteria, and you want the search also to be made in the respective system which is interconnected with MDG, which is, let's say, ECC system. So that means you are presently available in MDG system and you want to search a certain master data or certain item remotely to the other system, which is obviously interconnected, and then get the result. That is something remote key search. But if you ask me that whether in the real time scenario they use the remote key search, the answer is very less, or rather no. They don't use it because the reason is the performance. The performance is not good in the remote key search, because when remotely you are searching another system through MDG, Obviously, that takes little longer time than the other type of search. And naturally, what is happening that customer is looking for a search within the MDG system. So irrespective of active and inactive data. So that's what remote key search we don't use much in any kind of real-time project. But however, it is a part of search, uh, the different type of search scenarios. Then coming to the enterprise search. Enterprise search is that is it is a little different type of search than database search and remote key search. Basically, this type of search used for material master and for business partner. What is happening? That is, when you use the database search, so you enter something and that data hit database and you get some information from the database. If you see from the performance point of view, this is not a very ideal kind of a search scenario because every time you hit the database, it impact on the performance. So because of that reason, this enterprise search is one of the option. So enterprise search, what is happening when you enter a certain search details or search criteria to be searched, that time it will directly not hit the database. Rather, it hit a search template. Okay. Search template is something you can understand that whatever the data you are creating, inactive, active, whatever the data you are creating or updating, search template is taking an image of those records. And what is happening when you search a certain item or certain master data, it will first hit the search template, which is having a huge number of master data, which has been captured during the update or creation of the master data or marked for a deletion process or mass processing, whatever you are doing, it is taking an image of it. And if that information is not present in the search term or search template, then it will go to the database and search. So the idea is to reduce the pressure on the database. So in database search, like every time you hit the data, so that is not happening in the enterprise search. So let's say you are searching a million record, or let's say 1,000 records, for an example. There can be a possibility that few hundred records you may directly hit to the database, but rest of the records you will get it directly in the search template. Okay, and this type of search also having help with T-Rex search engine, which is an additional search engine exclusively helps such kind of search. And also it having, as I mentioned, that search template connector, and connector also help in terms of taking the images of the inactive and the active master data. So mainly this kind of search we use when you have a huge volume of master data, like material master and business partner. Such kind of master data, naturally they are in terms of volume, they are very high, and that's what we use such kind of enterprise search. Now the last item is the HANA based search. HANA based search is basically this type of search we use for all kind of data model which we have, including material master, including finance master, including business partner, and also including customer and vendor. any kind of data model we have, we can use this HANA based search. And this is quite advanced search than database, remote key, and enterprise search. Because this type of search having direct connection with the HANA database. Okay, so that's what this HANA based search is, something which highly recommend in any kind of project nowadays. But keep in mind, in HANA based search, you must have the backend system as a HANA database. If you don't have backend system as a HANA database, you cannot implement that. Okay. And obviously, this type of search is very, in terms of performance wise, it is quite fast. Why it is fast? Because any kind of HANA methodology you see, the the basic the basic activity of the HANA methodology is it search any master data or any item through column wise, where the other type of search, they search any item or master data row wise in the database, or in the message template, wherever the messages or wherever the master data is resides. So when you search column wise, naturally your performance in terms of search will be much faster than the other type of search. So that's the reason. Now I will quickly come to the different type of search and its configurations. Okay. First start with database search. Database search is a very straightforward. Let me open the system. 1 minute. I just unshare my screen. Okay. So let's start with the database search. So first go to MDG IMG, go to general settings, data quality and search and duplicate check, define search application. Okay, database search. So first of all, you can see here search mode. So the search mode, you have database search, you have enterprise search, you have HANA based search, you have remote key search, and the followed by the access class. So what is the use of those access class? So basically those access class having the method in order to perform the search activity. So if I open any one of the class, so you can see get search help. The first one, search data execute the search operations. Second one, that is get duplicate check attribute, get the relevant details for the duplicate check. Third one, get search attribute, list of search details for the different fields. Then search help, get the search help. Then followed by, so whatever you see, this is related to the search activities. We have a different method to execute. Okay. Then you have free from, that means free text. Yes, you can do that. Fuzzy logy, yes, you can do the fuzzy search. Then complex selection, that is also you can do. So these are all. Save it. Okay. Next is go to the allocation of search help. Now you can see in this allocation of search help, you have a data model and the included search help. What is included search help? Included search help is, however, we are going to discuss that include search help down the line. But for now, at least you can understand every include search help having some list of attributes. Let's say this is the BP general data. So under the BP general data, there are some attributes. So if I select this and go to the entities, so what is the entity type we need to define for that? So let's say I'm saying this is the general data. So BP underscore header. So BP underscore header entity type, whatever the basic details you have, that is nothing but the BP general data details. Okay. Similarly, you have, let's say, BP roles or a BP address detail. So you can define the respective entity types for that. So for that, what you need to do, you can open simultaneously the data model, let's say BP, because database search mainly used for business partner. So let's say we were talking about the roles. So BP roles, BP roles. Okay. So this one, BP roles. Similarly, bank details. For bank details, this is the one. Okay. So what is happening when inside the included search, you define the entity types. So entity types also will have some attributes. So this is the attribute. That means those attributes will be part of the included search, this included search help. Okay. So that is, we have to do the first thing, that is define the entity types respect to the search help, whatever the different search help we have. Okay. Once this is done, then you have to go to the allocation of entities. So then finally, whatever the entity you have added, like I have added BP header, then I have added bank details, then I have added BP roles. So those entity types, okay, so those entity types are now you have to allocate. So what is happening? That means ultimately this is the database search. Under this search, this is the data model which is associated with, and under this we have, these are all entity types, and under this entity types we have list of attributes. So they are all part of this database search. So we just need to allocate this detail, and that is more than sufficient in terms of database search configuration. Then you can start the search activity, which is accessible through NWBC. So when you go to NWBC, so let's say customer master or supplier master, whatever you take, then search customer. Will take some time to open this. Okay, so let it open. So this is the database search, which is very straightforward. Just you need to assign those allocations. Okay, so it is opening. Okay, let it open. We can move to the next item. Now coming to the enterprise search. Now if you ask me that how many projects they use right now database search, the answer is very less. Very less amount of project they use the database search nowadays. Okay, because the main disadvantage is that every time you make us any search criteria to be searched, that will directly hit to the database, so which is not recommended mainly. So this is the same thing what I just have shown in the demonstration. You can define some search criteria to be searched. Okay. So if I search at this moment with no specific details, I can see this is the list of business partners which is getting searched. Okay. Anyway, so let's move on. Now my next item is enterprise search, which is also called as a embedded search. Okay. So what exactly needs to be done here? So the first thing is in the part of this type of search configuration, the step one is creating connection between MDG and T-Rex, and who will help in this basis. So we need to ask basis that we have a T-Rex server. So the T-Rex server needs to be connected with the MDG system, and they will do the necessary connection by using SM59, the RFC connections. They will build it, and then they will provide the necessary RFC details as well to our to us as a part of MDG development team. Okay, so this is the first is basis activity, which will create the RFC connection between MDG and T-Rex server. Okay. Second thing, assign the role. This is the role to the respective search role or respective the authorizations. Let me show you 1 minute what I'm trying to say here. So this is the role. So what is the T code for the role? The T code for the role is PFCG. PFCG and SAP ESH. ESH means enterprise search. ESH local admin. SAP ESH local admin. Okay, so this is the role. So what we are saying, this role has to be assigned with the user. So let's say this is my user ID. This is my user ID, SAP user. So with this user ID, make sure I should have this role. Okay, so let's see whether I have this role or not. No, I don't have this. So this role needs to be assigned. Okay, search, sorry, save, and then go back. Now we can search, and we have this. Okay. So the thing is that every user should have this role. Why? Because this is the role which is having the necessary authorization for the embedded search. Okay, the respective authorization for performing and monitoring the search. So this is the second step. Third step, the create connector. So what exactly needs to be done here? So for that, we need to go to the transaction ESH underscore connector. Let me check. Sorry, ESH underscore cockpit, not connector, cockpit. Okay, so this is the transaction. As soon as you enter this transaction, you will be navigate to this URL. Now, what is this? The whole purpose? The whole purpose is we are going to create one connector template. As I was saying that we have the search template where basically whatever the master data is creating or updating, it is everything having an image of that inactive and active master data. So whenever we are performing the search will first happen in the connector. It will hit the connector template, and then uh, if the data is available, then well and good. It will directly take the data and display to the user. Otherwise, it will hit the database. So the idea is to reduce the pressure on the database, that every time whenever we are performing the search, will hit the database and try to collect the data. Okay. So this is the search connector T code, and we will create the search connector. It is taking long time. Let me open with Chrome. Let's use the single sign-on. So, no, it is not opening. Let's see. It may open through Chrome. Let me try again. Okay, so it is open now through Chrome. So this is the connector administration cockpit. For now, just ignore these errors. These errors are talking about mainly the RFC connection missing with certain destination. So anyway, you can ignore it. It is not relevant to us. So that's what the first thing is. We should have the RFC connection in place. That's what we mentioned in step 1. Okay. Anyway, so that is because we did not request basis earlier. So we don't have any RFC connection at this moment, but we can continue with the rest of the steps. So we can ignore this error at this moment. Okay. So the next thing what we need to do, we need to go to the modeler. You can see one hyperlink is there at the right hand side. So go to the modeler. Now it's open also in Internet Explorer as well. Okay, we will continue with Chrome. Then we can see the software components. So this is the list of software components which we have. Okay, so basically what is software component? Software component is nothing but it is having the list of master data, material master data, finance master data, business partner, etc., etc. And with that, it is having the software component. So it's like a nothing but a capsule. Under this capsule, we have the different master data. Okay. So now we need to identify which software component we will go for. Okay. So we will always try to go with the highest software component. So highest software component is this one. Now you can ask me how come you know? Yes, because we are managing this quite some time, so we know what is the highest software component. So what you see here, PLM WUI, this is nothing but the highest software component. Okay, that means this is the most what it called in the data structure. We say this encapsulation, right? Encapsulation. So it's a more or less same sort of thing. Then PLM WUI is the highest level of software component. Under this we have EAAPL, followed by SAP APPL, that means SAP application, followed by we have logical object LO. Under the logical object we have logical MD, logical master data, and under that we have LOMDMM, logical object master data material master. If we are using business partner, then LOMDBP. Okay. And then we have material. This is the main entity type, the leading entity type. So we need to select this material. So this navigation, the document which is available in the SharePoint or share drive, this document having the navigation. I will also talk about the same document. Okay, so it's not you will remember this. Yes, sometimes when you use quite some time, and then you can able to remember this path. Then material and go to software component, sorry, go to action and create connector. So first we will create the connector. So the step, if you see, that is create connector. Okay, So we'll go to, we enter in this ESH cockpit transaction and we are trying to create the connector. So that means we are trying to create the connector template respect to the material master. Okay. Now it will take some time because it is material means material having a huge number of attributes, huge relationships, which will encapsulate in one connector template. So that's what it will take little time to bring here as a template. So now we can back to administration cockpit. Let's wait. Okay, you can see search connector will be created in the background. Okay. Now we need to wait and refresh. So what you see here, this is the material connector. This is the details about the connector ID and all, and the status is preparing. Okay. So still it is preparing in the backend. So background activity is still happening. Now, at this moment, the status is preparing. What are the possible status we can expect? The possible status we can expect, that is two. One is active, which is nothing but successfully prepared. Another one is error. That means not successfully prepared. Now, from now, I can tell you what will be our status. Our status will be error. Why? Because the RFC connection is not yet created, which is depending on basis. Okay. So because we don't have the RFC connection in place, I'm sure whatever the correct connector will be created, that will be failed. Okay. So that's the reason we need to have the RFC connection before this connector create. Okay. That is one thing. Now let me open this document. So master data governance for material extent search. So this is for the enterprise search document. So if I go through this document, this is the document already available in the shared drive. So here, if I focus on this document, is slightly different what we are saying. They are creating their own software component, but we are using the standard software component. That's the difference. Otherwise, there is no difference at all. So now you can see PLMWUI. This is the highest software component which we are taking. And then we have this sequence, that is PLMWUI, EAAPPL, SAP APPL, logical object master data, logical object master data and material. And then we go for create connector with selection of the material. And then it will be seen as a prepared once it will be, or active once it will be successfully completed. Okay, but in our case, I'm sure it will not be successful. Let's see. Okay, error while preparing. Why error? Because we don't have RFC connection in place. Clear? So if we have RFC connection in place, it will be not a problem. So it will be prepared then. So then we will follow this document. So once it will be prepared, then we can go to the actions. So the next step is step number 4, perform schedule indexing. What is schedule indexing? Schedule indexing is nothing but once the connector will be prepared, what we need to do, go to action and this schedule indexing. At this moment, you can see grayed out because our connector is not prepared. But as soon as the connector is prepared, then you go to actions and schedule index. You perform the schedule indexing. What is going to happen? Respect to the connector, whatever recently the data has been updated or created through the uh, MDG framework, that will be updated. Okay, so that means the template will be updated with the list of inactive and active data. That is the purpose of having the schedule indexing. It will index the every single record which you have in the database. Okay, now once you perform the schedule indexing, so this is the following step. Click on schedule indexing, select the every single item, tick on start immediately, tick on real time indexing, copy the settings, and then you will have a OK button here. So this OK button, and that will start the schedule indexing. And finally, after the schedule indexing, you can see the details will be indexed. That means all the data. Now you can ask me how much time it takes for the indexing. Let's say you have a million record. Usually any project you see, one material project, at least you can expect 2 to 3 million records. So 2 to 3 billion record indexing is not a small task. Definitely it takes some time, and that depends on your database memory and lot many things, but it will take some time for sure. Okay, and then once it will be indexed, then what you need to do, you can come to this report ESH test search, and you can check whether the data has been indexed or not. Go to SE38 ESH underscore test underscore search. Enterprise search test. Execute. So the first thing what you need to give here, that is the connector ID. So what is the connector ID here? This is the connector ID. So I can give the connector ID. What next? Attribute. What kind of attribute you are looking for? Let's say Matner. And value. You can give some Matner value as well. Okay, I can give star. Instead of any specific value, I can give star. Okay, anything else? Nothing. Then see, no search connector for selected scope, because our search connector is still not prepared and active. So until and unless our search connector is active, we cannot perform this test as well. And also obviously the schedule indexing, because this is happening after the schedule indexing. So it is an indication whether your data is indexed or not. Okay. So once this is done, okay. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 schedule indexing. Now coming to the step 5. Step 5 is if you have any custom field. So far, whatever we have discussed, this is when you have all the standard fields. But if you have any custom field, then what you need to do? Then you need to append this structure ESO S Mara MAW1. This structure you need to append with the respective custom field. So if I go to this structure, ESO S Mara, okay, MAW1, MAW1. So this is the enterprise search node structure for material header. So here, if you have any custom field, you can include those custom field in this structure. Okay, that is the needed. Next is what we do for any kind of adding custom fields in the uh, data model. That is reuse mode. Let's say you update the SMT mapping, you update the Mara table, etc., etc. And then coming to the step number 7, update material node. So what is update material node? So what you need to do, you select the connector, edit model. Under the model, select the edit model. Okay. And then this is the information about application model, application component, software component, etc., etc. Move to the next. And here you can see what you need to do. There is an update node. Click here and update. And keep in mind, see here, the node material is associated with the structure which is ESO S Mara MAW1, the one just now we appended with the custom field. So that's what this structure needs to be appended first, and then you can update the node. So what is going to happen that the connector will be updated with the custom field. Okay, and then you continue and complete, nothing more. So that is the update material node. Then again, once you complete that steps, so let's say finish. Once you finish this, again you try to do the schedule indexing. So again repeat schedule indexing. Why repeat? Because you added the new field in the connector. So that field again you need to index. So that's what you need to do, the schedule indexing. And finally, step 9 and 10. Step 9 and 10 is, that is, create search object connector template. What you need to do? You need to go to MDG IMG, MDG IMG, general settings, data quality and search, search and duplicate check. Here we have. create search connector template. Okay, now the software component. So what is the software component we used here? So the software component is PLMWUI. So this is the software component. Now what is the business object we use? Business object is here. For material, it's 194. Now what is the connector template we use? The connector template is this one, material, and the description is also material, and then execute. So what is going to happen? So basically what you created in the cockpit, that is now connect with the MDG framework through this search object connector template for staging area in order to get the inactive data mainly. And once this is done, the next one, assign search object connector template to the object type. And here you need to assign, I can see one existing record, but we need to update according to our entries. So the object type for a material, it will be 194, BO type, sorry. Then object type and software component. Software component, anyhow, it's a, sorry. This is the software component. Okay. And object type. What is object type? Object type is your connector name. That means material. And save. This is the one. Okay. So these are all, and yes, I think you need to take the root object as well. So this is the steps which needs to be followed. 9 and 10. So here the steps are very clear. Whatever I have given in a 10 possible steps, and also I have given the page numbers. So for, let's say for step number 7, need to refer the page number 20 to 25. Similarly, step number 9, need to refer the page number 18 and 19. Of which document? This document. The document which I just explained. This document. So this is a classic document for extended search or embedded search or enterprise search, whatever you say, all are same. Okay. So this is the enterprise search. And keep in mind, this type of search we mainly use for material master and business partner, not for finance. Okay, because finance can be used either database search or HANA based search, not through enterprise search. Enterprise search mainly use when we deal with a large volume of data. That time we use enterprise search. Okay. So any questions so far? Whatever we discuss, at least the basic details about the search, database search and enterprise search and its possible steps. So any question on that? Okay, so let's move on to the next category, which is HANA based search. Now for HANA based search, again, we need to follow some steps. Again, 6 possible steps. But for this, I have prepared a complete document which you can refer. Okay, let's move on. So configuring HANA based search for material. However, this document has been prepared for MDG material, but it can be the steps can be followed for other data master data as well. So the first thing is, with the help of SAP HANA based search in SAP MDG, we can perform searches and duplicate checks on master data that is residing on HANA database. So the first thing which I said, that we must have the database that is the HANA database. Okay, not the Oracle database or other type of database which is integrated with MDG. And SAP HANA Search Provide is delivered the below features. The below data models are supported. Basically, it includes everything for finance, for business partner, and material masters. The access class implement, anyway, this is not necessary to read. So basically, the major point here is it include all the data models. That is the first point. The next point is the prerequisites. What is the prerequisite here? That whatever the version you are using, the when I prepare this document, that time I was using version 7.0. That's what you can see. I have talked about the version 7.0 only because that was the latest version that time. But today when we are talking, we have version 9.2. So related to the 9.2, whatever the business functions we have, if you remember business functions, we talked about very early days in the first chapter when we were talking about the out of box configurations. So those business functions you need to activate. Okay. Then next is, once you activate the business function, and also you must have the latest version of SAP HANA or S4 HANA, whatever you are using, to be part of backend integration with MDG. Now these are all possible steps. So the first step is create role for schema in SAP HANA Studio. So first of all, in SAP HANA Studio, we need to create the role. Okay. If you don't know how to manage the HANA Studio, of course, if you ask me, I'm not an expert of managing HANA Studio. So I really don't know how to manage that. So in that case, we can obviously ask someone who manage the HANA Studio. So this way we can do that activity. Okay. So first is we need to create the role in the HANA Studio. Okay. So let's say here you can see we created the role MDG underscore modeler in HANA Studio, having the privileges of the user view. So basically the idea of having the role is that whoever is part of the role, they can view the attributes. That's the idea of having this role. Now the next one is create another role called MDG underscore viewer in HANA Studio, which is also provided like a kind of access of the attribute. Okay, so this is the role. Assign. Now the next is assign the role created above to your user ID. Okay, so whatever the role has been created, that you need to assign to your user ID. Okay, whatever the user ID you have using in MDG. Next is create database connection. So at this moment we are using, let's say the latest one is S4 HANA 1909, which is compatible with MDG, right? So in that case, you need to create the database connection. So how do you create that? So in terms of creating, you can use the transaction DBCO. Now, whether you can create it? No. This is something which Basis can help you in order to create the database connection. Okay. And then let's say for an example, this one. So they will create the database connection for HANA, and this is something which they will maintain the connection information and all. And finally, create the search view. Okay. So how you get the search view? Go to MDG IMG, general settings, data quality, search and duplicate check, create search view. Okay. Now you can see this is the list of search view. Now I will go to, let's say, material. Material. This is the one. Now when I go to this search view, so just few minutes back when I was talking about database search, what I said, the search view is something where inside the search view you have the list of attributes. Okay, so this is the list of attribute you can see. Now go to next, where you have entities and attributes. So this is the material. Under the material entity type, these are all attributes which you have, starting with material group, then length, then followed by the industry sector, material type, unit of measure, the basic one basically. Then followed by some, let's say, MARC. This is for Mara purchase, Mara sales, Mara purchase, MARC sales, MARC purchase. These are all. Okay. And now the idea of having this search view is, by default you can see there are some field which are ticked. Now tomorrow, if my customer says that, look, I want some attribute to be part of it, which generally it is not, or let's say I don't want some attribute to be part of it, which generally it is. So those things we can manage accordingly. So this is the material group. Let's say for an example, I want net weight. I want cross plant status or cross plant details, whatever you say, description, and these are all. Okay. So those things I can tick, I can save, and I can this is the TR which I have, open TR, and then I can continue. Okay. But one thing here is important, the HANA package. So what is the HANA package? The HANA package is something which you just created here in step number 3, the HANA package. So you create the HANA package in the HANA Studio. Okay. And that HANA package, you are basically assigning the step number 5. Okay. So this is related to the search view and assigning the search view with the HANA package. Now Next is step 6, allocation of search help based on search application. So this one is need to check this one. Okay. Allocation of search help based on, okay, fine. Go to search application. HANA based search. Go to allocation of search help. And here we need to define the material master related search help which we added. What was that search help? This is the one. Included search help, description, material search help, let's say. Save. Okay. Now select this allocation of entities, material, or whatever the other entity type I want to add, that we can add here. Save. Then allocation of entities with the data model. Okay. This is the details. So this is the step which we need to perform, which is respect to the HANA based search. This is the steps. And this document is again available in the SharePoint. Okay. Now the next topic, which is talking about duplicate check. So duplicate check is, again, this is the document which I prepare. Now, don't go by the description. It is saying that configuring database search for MDG material through SAP HANA. But the way the document has been prepared, it is a general document. It's not related, just only related to the material or just only related to the HANA. But yes, the example which has been given here, that is the material example, but it is a general document basically. So coming to the point, what is duplicate check? Duplicate check, okay. Let me show you one quick demo on duplicate check. Let me unshare my screen for a while. Let me share my screen now. Okay, so this is one example of how we manage the supplier master. So this is the supplier master request where we go for, let's say, create some supplier master. Okay, so just checking whether any data we have and then creating. So creating with organization. So we have basically organization, person and group. So creating with organization. So first need to enter the basic address details. So first is BP address details, street, house number, postal code, city, country, region, language, and transportation zone. So these are all which is a mandatory fields, including the search term. Okay. The next is ERP vendor, creating the ERP vendor. So straight away come to the ERP vendor section. So this is the ERP vendor. First, general data and purchase organization and company code. So start with purchase org, where you have the payment terms and the payment method. Okay, that's enough. Now here we have, look at this. When we click on check button or let's say done, that time what is happening, system is checking the present record which you are creating or updating with the existing record. So this is the checked record, the record which you created or which you are creating just now. And this is the duplicate record which we have in the system. So basically system is comparing with the existing records and checking that whether the entry are duplicate entries or not. So here you can see there are some entries like name, street, house number, postal code, city, country, language. These are all some duplicate entries which has been identified. So that's what it is giving you a kind of an indication that look, you are basically creating a duplicate record. Obviously, you can continue with that to ignore it, or you can switch to the duplicate record, whatever the duplicate records we have. Okay. So this is the idea to indicate the user that you are going to create a duplicate record. So the idea is try to reduce of creating or updating the duplicate records in the system. Okay. Then you come back to the document. So duplicate record. This function validates the data that you input and allows you to control the creation of duplicate data records. When you provide some data to create a new change request, the system compares the data you have entered with the data already exists in the system. If the data we have entered matches with one or more existing records, the system warns that you are about to create duplicates. For an example, if you are entering or creating a new material, you entered the material description, material type, and material group. The system first compares the data from these fields with existing material records in the database. And then the duplicate check identifies any records that are potential duplicates of the record we are creating, right? Each potential duplicate is giving a score. I will come to the score part. Okay. So this is the idea of having duplicate check. Fine. Now, when you are actually doing this duplicate check, so what exactly needs to be take care? So the thing is, we need to go to the match profile. What is match profile? So this is the configurations for duplicate check, starting with the match profile. So the first thing which we need to understand, what is match profile? Okay. Now coming to the match profile, you can specify the match profile to control which attribute in the system compared to identify the duplicates. So what are those fields will be part of the duplicates? So go to the relevant fields. So let's say, I would say that by default, it is appearing MBRSH. So basically industry sector, material group, material type, description. So these are all by default, it is coming. So material group, industry sector, unit of measure. Okay. These are all. I think that's fine. So with this detail, now you can see mandatory. Mandatory means when you put a tick mark, that means those fields needs to be uh, part of the duplicate check. So they will be checked. So here in this example, I have only four fields to be checked. Then the next is, that is the sequence of checking. Which sequence it will check? First, it will check the description, then it will check the material type, then it will check uh, MBRSH, industry sector, and then the the unit of measure field. Okay, so these are all different attribute which will be checked in a proper sequence. I have one more item which ticked, I guess. This is this is the first fifth sequence. Okay. B, no, the relevant attribute. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Next is this unit of measure taken. I think industry sector is also taken. Material group. Description 2, 3, 4, and 5, let's say. Okay. Next is the weightage. So weightage means, like, if I give a generic example, so every year we have in the organization the annual rating system, right? Based on the individual performance. So in the rating system, we have certain weightages based on your delivery, based on your organization, activities, based on your innovations, based on uh, your certain activity which is impacting the customer and the organization and the personal development as well, so etc. So we have a different weightages, and every weightage having some percentage. Some weightage contain like 10%, 20%, 25%, 30%, like that. And in all, we have the 100%. Similarly, you have to give the weightages. So let's say we have a 5 fields here to evaluate the duplicate check. So what are the weightages we need to give? So let's say I will give the weightage first, the description 30%. So we have to give like this manner: 0, 30 if it is 30%. Similarly, let's say material type, I want 20%. The next one, I want 15%. Then again, okay, so it's a 60, this one. Okay, so this is the way we maintain the weightages. So total is 100%. We have to divide the number of entries we have. So make sure that the total weightages has to be 100%. Okay. Fuzziness, nothing to enter. This is the weightage. So what is going to happen when you give the necessary weightage? When you give the necessary weightage, okay, what is going to happen? That is, okay, next thing. First, we will complete this. So next thing is configure duplicate check for entity types. So here, let's say this one. So we have weightages, which is lower threshold and higher threshold. What is this higher threshold and lower threshold? Higher threshold and lower threshold is when this pop-up will appear. When this pop-up will appear. This pop-up will appear when it is more than 40% and below 99.9%. Okay, when this is falling within this range, that time this pop-up will appear. So this is nothing but the threshold values. So I also talked about what is threshold values and etc. So this is the match profile. After the match profile, threshold value. You can specify a threshold for duplicate scores. The system deems as a potential duplicate only those records with the score in excesses of those threshold and display this record to the user. That means when it is falling within this percentage, then only the pop-up will appear. And then which followed by the match profile and the included search, etc. Now, what is match profile? Match profile is the one which we have just assigned here. This is the match profile. Okay, and included search help. So included search help for material. This is the one. Okay, save. Entry. Okay, sorry. This is for the enterprise search. For HANA based search, this is the one. Now it is saying that match profile does not part of the search view, so please maintain accordingly. Okay, that is, we can check in the search view and we can do necessary whatever needed. Okay, so this is how we assign the match profile and these threshold values. So what is going to happen once you define this? So this is the steps which we just perform. Select the search, go to the match profile, define the fields, the necessary weightages, the sequences, and then go to the maintain the threshold value. And when you execute, then what is going to happen? You enter something and you click on the check button, and then you can see these are all fields which is going to match. And this is the score. How it get the score? You have given the weightages. So if I say I have, let's say, 3 fields which is matching, and those 3 fields having the weightages 20, 20, 20, then I would say then my scoring is 60%, let's say. So here I can see there are around 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 field which is match. Sorry, 5 field which is match. So the score is here 81%, 81.99%. Okay. So this is nothing but the duplicate check. Okay. And duplicate check, these steps are for all data, different type of search and all type of data model which can be followed. Okay. So this is the duplicate check. Now, the last topic in this particular chapter, that is understanding S4 HANA on MDG. So these are all few links which I have provided, which definitely you can go through it. But one of the document which I recommend, and this document is already in the SharePoint. So this is the document which can give you little understanding about upgraded guide for S4 HANA. Okay. So first of all, what we need to understand that why S4 HANA? What is the use of this S4 HANA? First, there are 2-3 things. In the document, there will be plenty number of details, but I will just talk about in a very simple manner the 2-3 major points. First thing, S4 HANA, as I just also mentioned earlier, few minutes back, that the way it search in a column wise, but the rest of the search, they have the row wise. So automatically what is happening when you use S4 HANA, and that is to the HANA based search, automatically your performance gets increased. That is one thing. Second thing is S4 HANA, we use lot many new features like Fiori. Instead of NWBC, you can use Fiori Launchpad for data representation. Master data creation, updation, mark for deletion, block unblock, mass processing, consolidation. These are all things you can use. Okay. The next thing is through S4 HANA, as I just mentioned, consolidation and mass processing, which is for the data, mass data creation and mass data update that you can perform through the S4 HANA. Okay, which is much advanced technique than DIF for a data import framework and mass upload or mass update, the as usual procedure. Okay, so these are all 3 4 points. And also in S4 HANA there will be uh, uh, some new module if you are looking with, like enterprise asset management or uh, fashion management, which is brought by Utopia along with SAP. So those new modules also can be accessed. So this is the main purpose of having it. So this is the document which is mainly the upgrade documents, and some link which I have given that will help you to get some detailed understanding about S4 HANA. So whatever I said, more or less same story, it will be in a little descriptive manner, little defined manner it will have. Let me open the second link as well. Third as well. It is talking about the consolidation and mass processing because it is a part of S4 HANA process. That's what I have just given the details here. And then consolidation, mass processing. Okay. So mainly this is the benefit of having S4 HANA in the multiple processing and here. So mass processing, consolidation, Fiori, these are all things will be benefit of a S4 HANA. Okay. However, we have a different section for the consolidation and mass processing. So that's what I'm not going to discuss at this moment. So you can see we have in the replication chapter, replication and import chapter, we have a consolidation and mass processing. So that's what we are not going to discuss in this chapter, the same. Just in this chapter, we talked about a little bit why S4 HANA, why we are using S4 HANA and all with MDG mainly. So today, basically, we talked about different type of searches. Categorically, we talked about database search, enterprise search, and HANA-based search. Then we talked about duplicate check, and then little bit about S4 HANA. Okay. So this is the search and duplicate check. Now the next thing which we have, which we will start in next week, that is data replication and import, where basically we will talk about the replication process through the IDOC processing and SOA manager, and the import process through consolidation and mass processing. Okay, so this is the topic which we will touch upon. Fine. So any question regarding search and duplicate check, at least whatever we discussed today, all the configurations, etc. Fine. If there is no question, then today I will just close the session here now. And as I mentioned, all the relative or reference documents are already present in the SharePoint. So please go and check there, and please let me know if any document is missing, then I will provide exclusively. Okay, fine then. So today I'm closing the session, and next week we will continue with the next chapter. Okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining.